Right, we have a Dell Inspiron 3583 here. Okay, the symptom of the device is when the battery is connected, when you plug in the charger light will come on and then it'll go off. There's the white light there and it's gone off. Now I'm using a bench power supply. It's exactly the same pin. The bench power supply is set at 19.5 volt, exactly the same as the adapter. The same symptom was with the original adapter as well. The light will come off and go. The laptop will work fine, it will turn on fine with the AC adapter plugged in, or it will also work from a charged battery, but it will not charge the battery. Okay, and the light will come on and off. These are your battery terminals. Okay, because this is off, it's not sending any voltages into the terminals basically, so it's not charging, so there's no charging voltage going into the terminals. Any voltage what you see on the terminals will be from the battery. Okay, but the clock and the data lines will be showing voltages as soon as the adapter is plugged in. Okay, so let me sort of show you what the voltages are on those pins. Now remember, we're not getting any charging voltage on those three positive pin for the battery, so that whatever you see now is the voltage for the actual battery itself. So these are the three pins. This will be either the clock or the data, same here, clock or the data. That will be a battery recognition pin basically. Some like to call it the temperature or whatever it is basically. That drops into 0 volt as soon as it detects the battery. And those are your ground pins, the last 4 pins. So if I remove this battery and measure that pin, what I've said, the battery recognition pin, right, watch what happens. That will show as 3.3 volt. So 3 positive, clock data, whatever it is. I can't identify the pins unless I look at the diagram, and 3.3 volt. As soon as I plug the battery back in, which I can't do because I'm using my hands to Pro, it will drop down to 0 volt. Okay, so do we get any voltages on the and you won't do because it doesn't see any of the can't see the battery, right? So the battery has to be seen by the board for the board to sort of, by the I/O and the charging IC. Obviously the data lines goes into the I/O and then I/O talks to the charging ICs. There's a lot of communication going between the two before it can start throwing out the 11.8 volt or the required voltage for the battery to charge basically. So I'll take this out, plug this in, the light will come on and the light will stay on. It'll go off and it'll come back on again. Just wait. Unless the battery is charged. Just replug that back in. It's come on. Should come on. Now I'm getting trolled. I am fucking getting trolled now, but I should make sure that that's connected. Okay. Just gonna wait. Unless the battery is fully charged. Okay, so looks like the battery is actually fully charged by now. Sorry, that's the reason why the charging lights have gone off now. What a way to sort of create an impression of something. So normally, if the battery needs charging, the light will turn on, go off, and then come back on because it's just recognizing what's going on in the circuit, recognizing the adapter, the battery, and everything. There's a lot of shebang goes on in here basically. Right, what was the problem? I'll get to the chase right now. The issue was that these Dell chargers, now you've got to be careful that always troubleshoot a Dell laptop with the original charger. Don't go off the bench power supply because Dell charger has a center pin, which is an identification pin basically for your adapter, and that talks to the I/O, and then I/O sort of talks to the charger IC, and then the charger IC then starts charging the fucking battery, right? because this bench power supply doesn't have, it does have the pin, but there's no voltage there. The voltage should be around about 0.100 millivolt basically, right? It didn't have that. Therefore, the light comes on and it goes off. Same with this, but what I didn't realize is that this is the customer's charger, that the center pin, the wire was snapped from the inside. Now, as you can see that I've repaired this now, okay, and when I plug it in, it should charge the battery, and the light will go on, come on, go off, and then come on again. But sadly, I've charged the battery now. That's the reason why it's going off totally. It's coming on and then going off, and it's not coming back on again. Okay, so remember, if you've got a symptom like this with a Dell laptop, first thing first is to check, replace the charger, or get a replacement charger. I mean, genuine charger. Check that. Make sure that the pin. Let's just do a measurement on that. So there's the multimeter. Okay, so that's your ground. The outer side is your ground. The inside here, the tube is your 19.5 volt, and then the pin is your identification pin, right? So let's see what we get on the inside. Basically 19.56 on the multimeter, but when you measure the pin, yep, 0.107. That voltage is not present here. This is my bench power supply lead, and it's plugged in. Okay, so you still get the 19.5 volt, but when you probe over that center pin, nothing. Absolute nothing. That's it. So that was the problem. So if you have any issues like that, first thing first is to check the adapter and make sure that you're getting that voltage from the center pin, the identification pin, and also you're getting 19.5 volt out of the charger. That's first thing first. Don't rely on the bench power supply like I did basically. So that's all. Hope you guys have learnt this. You know, this is working. Look, let me sort of before I conclude this video, let's power on the device. Laptop's on. Let's just sort of get this. Laptop's on. Yes, there's an element of messing around happens when you take the battery out. With there's all these Dell laptops that the bloody thing needs to be reset several times because you've unplugged the battery. So it likes to troll you basically. It will come, but the board will switch on, switch off. You've got to turn it back on again, switch on, switch off, and all this business basically. So let's plug that adapter in. Yeah, it's just a fucking troll basically, that's all. Yeah. There you go. Alright. You just saw. Just piece of shit is just trolling basically. When you do power on that, you'll see the cap locks turning on basically. Right. So you just saw it sort of on, off, on, off, on, off, and all that business. The other downside of it is the fact that there's this software, there's many firmwares in the BIOS basically, and one firmware being corrupt can actually cause the BIOS in general could get corrupt. That can lead into all sorts of problems like this. So I always, all the laptops that come in here, I try to back up the BIOS basically. That's one thing I do. Okay, so yep, that's brilliant. That, let's see what's going on here. So it's showing as battery not present. Okay. Should be. Have I not? Don't tell me that I've bent one of those pins inside because I've been shoving the connector back. Now let's close this off and just. Alright. Light has come on, but yep, that was me. That was my problem. Let me show you. There we go. The battery's recognised now, and it's still. So it's charged 99%, and as oops, there we go. And it's this symbol is showing charging basically. All right. Plugged in, and it's charging basically. Got a little software here that will tell me. Yeah, okay. So that's that. Hope you learned something. That's all. Look after yourself, and I'll catch up in the next video. Bye for now.